What's up, guys? It's me, Braden Cole, with Eat Sleep Game, and today I'm going to try to explain to you the basics of building your own custom computer without getting too dorky or nerdy. I'm going to try to explain it the best I can in the most simplistic terms, just in case you're new to this or whatever. Okay, now I'm building myself a custom computer here in about 2 or 3 weeks. I finally accumulated the money, and I want something for gaming and high definition movie editing. So I've decided on a 250 gigabyte hard drive. I've decided on 8 gigabytes of RAM, an AMD 6 core, and a BioStar motherboard with a GeForce GTS 250 1 gigabyte card. Okay, and then a cool gamer case. And anyway, what you need to do, the first thing you need to do if you're going to build yourself a custom computer is realize that, okay, if you've never done this before, you should probably look into it more because it's not as easy as it sounds. You might think, okay, well, it's just putting pieces together. And it is just putting pieces together, but you got to know what is what. Like if you order a AGP X8 card, video card, or a PCI card, and you have a PCI Express socket for your video card, you're going to be disappointed when you find out, oh crap, well, now I got to send this back and redo all this crap and wait even longer. You also got to know about DDR1 RAM, DDR2 RAM, and DDR3 RAM, the different sockets. You got to know about all this stuff. You got to know about how many volts of power you're going to need. You're going to have to know what your motherboard supports. You're going to have to know just what kind of cooling is required, if you're going to need a stock CPU fan or you're going to need to go out. It's a big mess. It's really not as complicated as you think, but for a beginner it would be. So I'm going to start off by explaining what the most important things you need to do to build this computer are. The first things you need to do is you need to decide on a case, and you need to decide on a motherboard. Now, these are the two most vital parts to your computer. What you need to do is you need to make sure you get a case that can fit your motherboard, whether it's micro ATX or ATX or whatever. You're going to need to know that either your mid-sized tower, small tower, or large tower is going to be able to fit this motherboard into it perfectly, meaning it has all the screws and stuff that it goes in right. Also, you're going to need to know what kind of processor your motherboard can handle. A lot of websites like 3btech and newegg.com, they allow you to have CPU motherboard combos, and personally that's what I would go with if I were you. Also, a lot of these sites allow you to choose the RAM on top of the motherboard, so you don't accidentally get a specific type of RAM that wouldn't fit. Even if it's DDR3 RAM and it's a DDR3 slot, there's different variations of this. So a lot of websites will help you out with that. So if you're going to be building a custom PC and you're not 100% sure on that, I'd either do some studying or go to a website that helps you out. When it comes to the processor, there's a CPU fan that comes with the processor, and if you're planning on overclocking, which if you're a beginner and you're watching this video and you really don't know how to put this stuff together, I wouldn't be recommending overclocking to you for a long time. But what overclocking is it's when you take your processor and you basically kill some of its lifespan. You're going to take your processor, it has a certain lifespan. You're going to overclock it and make it more powerful, decreasing its lifespan. But the way you can prevent its lifespan from sort of decreasing, and the way you can prevent it from overheating, is to buy a third-party CPU fan. And this requires thermal paste and all kinds of nonsense that you're more than likely not ready for. So I wouldn't even be thinking about that. And a lot of the times, if you get a good 6-core, 4-core CPU, there's really no need, if you're doing basic video editing and just some gaming, to really overclock it. But yeah, so basically, okay, like I said, either go to a store, a website that helps you do that for you and sends it to you like that, or make sure you study real good. The next thing you're going to need to know is Okay, power supply. What graphics card are you going to have? What are you going to be running? And all that stuff. And you need to know how many watts. Now, I'm going to be getting an 800 watt CPU, or sorry, PSU, because I want, just in case I want to add some more stuff. And you need to make sure you can fit it into your motherboard. It's got the right pins. And also you need to know if it's got SATA or Molex inputs. And a lot of the times they have both. The newest thing in terms of hard drives and stuff is SATA. Okay, it's the type of pin that is used. It's the type of slot that is used to power the things on your motherboard, and like your graphics cards, if it's a certain type of graphics card, and your hard drives, and your DVD drive bays, your Blu-ray bays. You need to know if it's Molex or SATA, and you need to get a power supply depending on what your motherboard and your hard drive and stuff are. Personally, I'd go with SATA because that's just the newest thing. It's the most efficient and it's the most safe. It consumes less power, you know. So if you don't know what SATA and Molex are, you need to look into that. Okay. Also, you need to make sure your graphics card, like I said before, I'd recommend PCIe because that's the newest thing. And I'd recommend a graphics card over 1 GB worth of memory. So if you don't know what PCI Express is, or PCIe, or PCI, or AGP, you need to look into that before you start building a PC. Now, a lot of the times, some of the PC cases make it very simple for you. A lot of the newer ones, there's really no tools required. There's a couple of thumb screws, and a lot of the stuff just helps you along with it. Like there's brackets to insert your hard drive with no screws necessary, and with the DVD drives and all that stuff. And I'd recommend those type of cases to a beginner simply because they're a lot easier to use. And actually, if you're going to be building a custom PC and you do not know how to do it, my best bet would be to look up a review dedicated to this, because you need to know if your hard drive supports 24-pin, 20-pin, and the input of the motherboard. There's just a lot of stuff you really need to know. But basically, overall, what your main concerns are is studying and realizing what you want and making sure that it's all compatible. So I'm going to be building a custom PC here in about 2 weeks on my YouTube channel, and it's here at Eat Sleep Games 64. So I would advise, if you would like to, you guys to subscribe to this channel to see me in action doing that, or you can go to anybody else's channel. If you like this video, you know, subscribe, whatever. We also do retro gaming stuff. Overall, yeah, thank you guys for watching very much, and I appreciate your support.